I really want to understand what it is and what it means and what you can do about it when manifesting doesn't work. You know, when manifesting doesn't work. And there's something to this because different people will come to me and explain to me in their situation, how manifesting isn't working for them. And before now, a lot of the answers that we would get have to do with, oh, well, you just have to do it better or you have to do it differently. But I think that there's a third answer. And I have that answer now. A very long time ago, when I was teaching in the Twin Flame community, a woman contacted me and she told me that there is more to manifesting. There's more laws of the universe than manifesting. And I was like, that does not make sense because manifesting is a law of the universe. And so, if that is so, and we're saying that it's so, then there can be nothing to the contrary. And so, I'm not saying that manifesting is not the law of the universe that is consistent, but here is something that I did find that makes me understand why she said what she said. So I think that there's a conversation, like the conversation that we generally are having about manifesting has to do with manifesting in this one human life. Okay. So it's like we think that if we are trying to manifest something and we're aligning with it in this human life, that it should work. But when it doesn't work, what does that even mean? And I think that it's really important to know what these things mean. And I think that the conversation that we're not really as familiar with, that we're not having, is what about the manifesting intentions that we put into this life experience before we even get here? So there's this manifesting thing that's happening not just in this life, but in a timeless manner. Something that happens before we got here, something that continues after we get here. And in this sense, I think that there is a search for meaning. Like, I think that manifesting and meaning are intrinsically tied. And I think that people, a lot of times, like when you're looking to manifest something, you're looking to manifest a relationship, you're looking to manifest anything in your life. I think that it is very easy to get caught up in the idea of attaining something when what you really, really are looking for is meaning. And when you have meaning, then that is going to help you manifest whatever it is that you do truly want. That's going to help you align with it. That's going to help you make sense of things, because meaning is what makes things make sense. And trust me, I know how difficult it can be to find meaning, partially because we are so distracted by all of the things that we want, all of the ideas that we want. We're distracted by our minds and the people around us and the conversations that we're having and all of the glitz and glam or whatever, all the things that you're supposed to do or you're supposed to want. But I went on a very, very, very deep search for meaning. And I think that really started a few years ago. I think that really started like 3 years ago. There have been a lot of really meaningful things that have happened in my life, and I've had the ability to live like many different lives in this life, where many people only live, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three. I've had the ability to have many different experiences, which has given me many, many different perspectives. I've been able to take away lots and lots of insight, information, and lessons from all of my different experiences. And so, going back to the idea that people are really catching on to the fact that meaning is really, really important and helpful to you, especially as a listener. I only like to operate from passion and meaning. I only like to operate from authenticity. I only like to operate from something that I feel super duper aligned and confident in. And so I basically kind of questioned myself. And I think it's healthy to do that. I was doing like a healthy kind of self-questioning. Um because it kind of looked like I knew that I wanted change in my life, but I couldn't really exactly put my finger on like what is that change? Like what is the thing that I know is missing, or what is the thing that my heart is like searching for, and so I did things that were different. I made choices that are different because you are if you don't make choices that are different, you're not going to give yourself the opportunity to be exposed to something different, to learn something different, to have an experience that is different. So that's kind of where Super Life was born. I was like, you have to go out and really, really embody the teachings and make choices in your life and take chances and do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do in order to see what is you and what is not, what's authentic to you, what is not, what's real for you, what is not, what's aligned with you, what is not, what you're passionate about, what you're not, what you believe in, what you're not, what works, what doesn't. You have to go out and experience and try and make moves and, take risks, do things. You have to do things you've never done before. This is so important. And there is a really, really, really just real level of manifesting and change and energy and flow and movement and love and passion and meaning that you will never experience if you do not make new choices and do things that are new. So this is super important. So I just kind of went with this idea of Super Life, getting really, really involved in the embodiment of your life and the embodiment of the teachings to the very best of your ability. And I still think that's very, very important. But part of what I did was kind of like a shedding of skin, a shedding of everything. I kind of took myself back to ground zero. I I'm not going to say I sort of like shedded all of my ideas of my identity, because like whatever it is that is truly authentic and real and meaningful for me is going to remain no matter what happens at the end of the day. Like it's going to resurface. It's what is fundamentally me is going to always show itself as fundamentally me, no matter what I do, right? Those things will remain. So you don't have to worry about losing yourself, because you literally can't. You're just going to be you at the end of the day, right? So I completely like changed my style. I just started like wearing, t-shirts and sweatpants. I was like, this is like zero, right? And it was winter anyway. And I stopped wearing makeup for like 3 months, which is really, really, really very significant for me. I was like, I don't even want to put anything on my face or look at my face. Like, I want to know who I am at ground zero. I want to know how I feel about me, how I think about me. I want to know how I do my makeup is authentically me, how I do my hair is authentically me. Like, what is that? What is authentically me? What is really, really me? And this is all parallel with a search for meaning, because if you don't know who you are and what you're about, you don't know what is going to have what meaning for you, or, you can't know that. So I went back to ground zero and I sort of just stripped everything that I could. And I allowed myself to go outside the box and ask questions and do things differently. And by virtue of doing things differently, you learn a lot, and you learn a lot very fast, and a lot of things can happen. And what I have always said is, if you want to know the truth, dive in head first. And diving in head first, it doesn't really, there's a certain connotation to this. Diving in head first has to do with diving in with your truth. So, like, for instance, if you really, really feel a certain way about someone and you want to know how they feel about you, Tell them how you feel. Come forward and do your best authentic expression of, letting them know what it is that you feel, think, whatever about them. And you're going to get a feedback. And I'm not saying that the initial feedback is 100% going to be the end all be all feedback that is the truth, but you're going to speed things up and you're going to get somewhere for sure. You're going to find something, which is better than being stagnant and not finding anything for a long period of time. I mean, my channel is no longer called Manifest Fast with Jasmine, but at the end of the day, there's a surefire way to make things move along, and that is by taking some kind of action, right? You learn either way. So I jumped into my life experience and I challenged everything that I knew and I explored new things. And I found the peace that I was looking for, that I really, really felt deeply inside me that I want to teach to you guys because it's going to help you understand what the fuck does it mean when manifesting doesn't work? What is going on here? And for a long time, I've been trying to point to this and trying to get to this with you guys, that there's so much more to manifesting than focusing on something else. But I feel like now I'm much, much, much more equipped to deliver the message and the messages and the teachings involved in that. And I'm really equipped to take you guys much farther. So let's use myself as an example. I have been teaching and learning and researching and being whatever it is that I am. I don't even know what you call that. A truth seeker. I don't know. Been doing this for a long time, but I kind of got myself into this SP niche. And that is about 10% of what I can offer you guys. And it started to really weigh heavily on me that I was like, as much as I'm doing here, I'm really trying to fit 100% into a 10% box. And it just didn't feel right to me. I'm like, this is literally 10% of who I am and what I can do and what I can offer. And I really feel like I just want to spread my wings and fly and do so much. I want so much more freedom here, so much more freedom of expression in all the ways. And, if I'm teaching, the more freedom of expression that I have in my teaching, the more that you guys are going to learn and get out of that, the more that you're going to not only learn by just the example of me being authentic, but I'm going to be able to share more in so many different ways that's more beneficial to you, and it's going to help you learn faster. So, but the thing is, I didn't really know, okay, I think that I was kind of looking for the next niche. And I think that was holding me back. And at the same time, when I would think about not niching at all, that didn't really seem to catch on either. Nothing really seemed to stick. So I think ultimately what's important to you and what's important to me is how to really get a hold of manifesting. How do we gain that freedom and control when it comes to manifesting anything, but also love? Also, that's, of course, it's always going to be important. Relationships are some of the most paramount things of importance in our life. I found that if you are pursuing something that is not actually aligned with your path and with the theme that you are exploring, no matter what you do, the thing will not work. And so this should really tell you something when it comes to what you are manifesting and what is not working. So I think that this is really, really good information to have, because if you believe that, oh, the reason why I'm not manifesting the thing is because I need to do it differently, or I'm just not doing it right, or I need to do it better or more frequently or harder. If you're believing that, but that's not actually the case, then you are going to likely spend a lot of time, effort, energy, and potentially money on an endeavor that is really not going to help you find what it is that you are looking for. And so I think that this is a really revolutionary piece to include in our understanding of manifestation, because this could seem like something difficult to understand or something that you don't want to believe. And I'm sure that there's going to be people out there that are like, oh, yeah, law of assumption. If you just law of assumption that shit, it'll work no matter what. It works all day, blah, blah. That's the only thing that you ever have to do. Okay, so like whatever works for you, I'm not like, there are some people, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of people that are not at the point in their journey where they actually are being called to take on a serious, deep search for meaning. So if you are not there yet, then you can do all of the ordinary, superficial manifesting tactics and stuff, and it is going to work for you. And I'm not saying that these things don't work. Yes, they work. I am saying that when you reach a certain point in your journey of manifesting, if you notice that the things that you were doing before are no longer working, and if you notice that, like, no matter what you do, nothing seems to be working, this is where the idea of what has most meaning for you in your journey and in your theme in your life, what is authentic for you, what is passionate for you, what is for you, this is where those questions very seriously come into play. Now we have another predicament entirely, and that is who can help you answer those questions. And I think that just in general, when you look at spirituality, of course, it's about a search for meaning. And I think it's also about a search for love and joy and fulfillment and balance and personal power, all of these things, the balance of it all. But I think in general, it just takes there's no real, path to covering this. But for me, I think that we're all on a path of a journey of meaning, discovering that. And I think that I've always been on one, but I think that, what I did in the last few months, I don't really know how many months, so I'm just going to say a few months. Um, I would say that it was kind of like a fast track because of the way that I decided to jump in and go about it. And I did learn a lot about it, and I can tell you a lot about it. And what I am doing now is I'm taking all of my culmination of teachings and I'm kind of pointing it in this direction. Because to my knowledge, I've been in the manifesting community for quite some time. I've been in the spiritual community for quite some time. And the thing that has always caught my attention is the number of people that things just don't seem to work for. And I've always kind of had an eye for that and really wanted to help people like that because it seems like nobody can help them. And I just feel for that. Like it's just like, well, if anything is possible, then how come it's not working over here? How come it's not working over there? And I know that it may appear that I just haven't cared about that, but it's always been something that's driven me in the back of my mind. It's just that I don't want to address something if I'm not very, very confident about it. And I can tell you that I feel very, very confident now that I do have a lot to offer to that group and that community of people who just feel like this just doesn't work for me. Life just doesn't work for me. Spirituality doesn't work for me. Manifesting doesn't work for me. Nothing freaking works for me. I got ideas. I got stories. I got things for you. Because literally, this happened to me where I was doing things where I was getting great manifesting results. Really, 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 really good. And then it's like, one day something happened where I would do the exact same things and I would not get the same results. And it was like, what kind of weirdo hocus pocus is this, that the same thing that worked yesterday is not working today? Like, what on earth happened? Like, something happened. Where's the juju? Like, what happened? It's like this really inexplicable thing. And I don't think that I'm the only one. And I know that I'm not. But I never, in all of my years of study, like nobody ever told me about that phenomenon, you know? And it has to do with what getting into tune with what it is that you really, really do want, what you're really, really after, what you really, really need, what really, really is good and important and going to be fulfilling and satisfying for you. It's about going much, much, much deeper than the superficiality that most people are thinking about when they are thinking about manifestation. Manifestation points to the physicality of the thing, it points to just a very superficial kind of comfortability. And I'm not saying that it is bad or wrong or superficial in any way to desire the comfort of life. Of course, we all want that. But I am saying that part of discovering what is truly comfortable and part of being a version of yourself who is able to be truly comfortable on these deeper levels is discovering something deeper within yourself that is clarifying in such a way that it helps clarify the more superficial layers of your life and helps you express yourself in a way that is more in alignment with truth. Express yourself in a way that is more befitting and satisfying to you, so that when you're communicating with your life, with yourself, with other people, with your person, with your lover, that you feel the connection that comes when you're able to do that in a way that is very, very in alignment with your deepest truth, in a way that is very, very meaningful to you. And also, being in this close proximity with your own inner workings allows you to make that connection with other people on a deeper level as well. It just like comes with the territory. It's kind of like, people that are very much in tune with truth. You have like a truth sensor within you. And when you hear truth, like it kind of rings, it's got like this vibrational um, quality to it that just resonates with you. And same thing, like when you're not hearing truth, you're like, yeah, that key is off. And it's not a judgment, it's just a recognition. So, how many of you out there feel like you have been trying hard and doing a lot of things and manifesting just hasn't worked for you? And what is it that you've been trying to manifest? And if there was a way for you to learn how to get past that pocket of difficulty, that, I mean, I'm not saying that it's easy to do. Like, it's really not easy to do, because at the end of the day, discovering things that, having to change, anytime that anyone has to change their mind about something, there's going to be a lot of resistance there, typically. So even me, like I have done, I feel like a very good job of putting myself in a position where I'm willing to be very variable and flexible and entertain things and change my mind. But my journey of finding my personal journey of meaning that I have had has really pushed me beyond any limits that I've been to before. And so in those terms, I don't think that it's easy. I think that you have to be willing to be flexible. You have to be willing to entertain ideas that maybe you wouldn't previously entertain. Maybe you have to be able to entertain things and just think about them, like be able to observe from a neutral perspective and kind of look at something without judging it right off the bat, without batting it away or without thinking or feeling too much about it in the moment, in order to come to new conclusions that can help you get closer to yourself and get closer to other people and get closer to whatever it is that you really want out of life. So, if I told you maybe it's not easy, maybe it's not even fast, I can't even give you a prediction on what is this, but would you come on that journey with me? So now that I'm here and I really, really know what I am about, which is about getting you more clarity and more results out of your manifesting abilities through the path of discovering your own authenticity and meaning and passion and truth. Would you come on that journey with me? And what if I decided to really give this my all and really show up? Because I know that there's a lot of people who miss me. And frankly, like I miss myself when it comes to who it is that I am and my ability to, how fun it is for me to connect with you on a daily basis, connect with you through these videos, connect with you through my super life community. Do you want to go on that journey with me? Have you hit a brick wall? Or has your manifesting journey have been, hunky dory? Tell us about that too. So that's what I'm going to be here for. There's a lot of things I'm going to cover. I think one thing that's really, really important in the love community that is not being emphasized or taught enough is that the other side of love is personal power and personal love. And I think this is something that I'm going to focus on in February, because I notice that most people who are on a search for love are imbalanced. Obviously, there's an imbalance, and personal power is how you balance that out. Two extremes create a balance. So I'm going to be doing that in February. I'm going to be showing up more frequently on YouTube regularly. And I'm going to be showing up in the Super Life community regularly in all of the tiers. I'm going to kind of be revamping all of that for you guys. So let me know what you think about this down below. I do have those links in the description below if you want to work with me one-on-one, which I don't have a lot of availability for that, but I do make myself available for people who want to really, really dive in very deeply into their personal growth process. But I do have the community, like I said. And one of the things that I feel like I've learned beyond a shadow of a doubt throughout this process is just how important community is. And I've actually been telling you guys this for a long time. But when you have, let's say that you don't know how to manifest something right now. Okay, but what do you have? You have community. And the benefit of community is not only support, but reflection. And reflection and support assists you in your learning process. So, like, stay in the game, stay involved. Sometimes we do need to sit with ourselves so that we can integrate. But for the most part, I think that community and building really authentic ties with other people, having really truthful communication with people, heart to heart, like learning how to have all of those important communications and making that a part of the way that you function intrinsically is super important, especially if you want to improve your relationships. You have to learn how to communicate on the level of truth. Okay. So communicate with each other, communicate with me. And if you want to work with me or join my Super Life community, those links are in the description below. And make sure that you click that like button, subscribe, and click all, because I'm going to be putting up some videos. Of course, I'm going to be showing up more regularly. And if you want to be notified, then you'll be notified when you click subscribe and all. See ya in the next video.